Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, and it's substantially better audio, at least from my side.
Great. Okay, perfect. I'm going to use this for next week.
Okay.
Uh, yes,
So,
that's great. I feel a lot better as well.
so actually before we start, would I be able to record this so that our other students can benefit from your questions? I would just
Oh,
post it
absolutely.
on the Discord. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Okay. So I'll record this and let's start over because of let's start over just to be clear. So you said that there's a difficulty understanding moral relativism. There's also a difficulty with the idea that something may be true given that other things are true. But if those other things are true, then then it may be false. Something like that, right? So
Yes.
let's let's touch on some examples. So I'll pull up. It sounds like maybe you're having a question about moral reasoning in general.
Yes.
So let's talk about moral reasoning, which is chapter 2. So here's the basic structure, what they call a modus ponens argument. And that's an argument where you say you say three things. You say P, which is just some sentence, right? And then you say if P then Q, and then you say therefore Q. And it's so you're logically deducing Q from you're logically deducing the third statement from one and two. So let's let's start with a simple thing. So let's start like so maybe it is going to rain. If it is going to rain, then you should bring an umbrella. Therefore, you should bring an umbrella. So, if it's going to rain, then you should bring an umbrella. And we know it is going to rain, therefore, we should bring an umbrella. Does that make sense as a structure logically to you?
Yes.
Okay. So, when we talk about these moral theories, we're basically doing the same thing. So, let's change it. So let's say theory A is true. We're not going to say what theory A is. We'll just it's just a placeholder theory, right? So and then we say something like if theory A is true, then you should and then we can fill in some random thing like not murder people for fun, right? So we can conclude, therefore, you should not murder people for fun. Because we said theory A is true. If theory A is true, then you should not murder people for fun. So it's possible that theory A is false, right? So if theory A was false, then we wouldn't be able to conclude we wouldn't be able to say therefore you should not murder people for fun because we're saying theory A is false. And so this applies to any theory that we're talking about. So
Okay.
does that kind of make sense? Do you have any questions about that structurally? It's just like the umbrella case with the rain and the umbrella, but instead um, we're talking about moral theories. What do you think?
Yeah. Yes, the structure makes sense now. And so you're saying that this would be applied to every theory that we're discussing,
Something like this,
the
yeah.
structure,
Yeah.
structure wise?
So
Okay.
So you remember the trolley problem? We could talk about the trolley problem a little bit.
Okay.
Do you remember what egoism and altruism are?
I don't.
Okay, so egoism is benefit yourself. Altruism
Okay.
is benefit others, right? And the trolley problem is set up where we have to pull the lever one way or the other, and we get to save 5 people or we get to save one person. Let's say the one person is your child, or if you don't have a child, just pick a family member. So trolley problem, 5 people, save 5 people, or save your child. Let's say. So if egoism is true, then who do you save? What do you think?
Your child.
Probably your child, right? Yeah. I would think so. Save your child because you have a special relationship with them. If altruism is true, then who do you save?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear any of that. It was like cutting in and out.
Okay. If altruism is true, then who might you save?
Then you'd save the 5 people.
Okay, so you might save 5 people. Save 5 people. Okay, so you can see from this that depending on which theory is true, so which ism, right? We've got this ism to that's like the theories. There most of the theories are various kinds of isms. Depending on which one is true, then it would change your answer to how you solve the question, right? Or how you answer the question, how you solve the problem. Does that basically make sense? What do you think? You still there?
Yes, but I can barely hear you. You were like coming in and out.
Okay. Do you hear
I
me
can hear you
now?
now. I don't know what's going on.
Okay. The audio settings may be strange. So, where did you leave off? So I was just saying, depending on which theory is true, it might change your answer to the question, right?
Yeah, I'm still not able to hear you.
Okay. Um, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to do then, because I can't really. I can't really unless we have a way to solve that problem. I'm not sure what to do.
Okay. Is I'm not sure either. I have no solution. I don't know what possibly is it my settings maybe or maybe my Wi-Fi connection. It's because I can hear you sometimes and then it's like it just goes in and out.
Yeah, it might be either of our Wi-Fi connections. That's possible. Um,
Okay.
we can keep trying, but eventually we'll probably get frustrated. It sounds like you can hear me now.
Oh no. Yeah, I can, which is really bad because I
Okay.
could hear you at first and then it just disappeared.
Okay, so ask me some questions about this. Does all of this make sense to you?
I understand it now, how you applied it 100%.
Okay.
From what I'm getting from this is when you're making your true or false statements, it relates to the theory itself. So if you believe in egoism, then if egoism is true, as you have here, then you save your child. So that's stating if you believe in egoism. So it's not necessarily if I truly believe it, it's applying the theory.
Yeah, and So we want to be careful between whether we believe it versus whether it's true. So I could believe egoism's true,
Okay.
and then save my child, but then later, cause someone could convince me that egoism's false. So yeah, you're right that like if I believe egoism's true, then I'm probably going to save my child. If I believe that altruism's true, then I'm probably going to save my child. It's probably going to determine how I act depending on which theory I believe is the true theory.
Okay.
So and that's going to apply to every single theory that we talk about in the course, right? So chapters 3 through 11, I believe, all go through different theories.
Okay.
And so right now, we just talked about the last one we just talked about was natural law theory in our last session. So you can replace this with, or you can add another one, right? You can add one for every single one. If natural law theory is true, then and then dot 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 whatever natural law theory will tell you, right?
Okay.
And so the fact of the matter is, there are lots of people in the world, and lots of people believe different things. And some people are going to believe egoism. Some people are going to believe altruism. Right. So it benefits us to know, like if these people, they believe this thing, then what are they going to do? Like, how are they going to act based on those beliefs that they have, you know?
Gotcha. Okay, that makes a lot of.
Yeah. So, you also had a specific question about relativism. So let's talk, if we can, let's talk about relativism. So relativism, that's basically a theory that says that whatever is moral is defined by culture, society, etc. So you could have society A. Society A says, what can we add here? We could say something about our diet, because a lot of different cultures have different diets, right? So society A says, do not eat pork. Society B says, eating pork is fine. And according to relativism, both of those can be true, depending on which society you're talking about. Does that make sense? So we could say we can say something like, if we are if we are of society A, then eating pork is wrong. If we are of society B, then eating pork is fine. And relativism would say both of those can be true because they're true of different societies. Does that make sense?
Relativism is talking about culture and society. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So I guess what I'm getting from the last one that we just did on egoism and this one on relativism, you're just applying the different theories. I guess so, like the example that you gave for society A and society B, you're
Mm-hmm.
taking relativism and applying that um, with whatever statement is given. So, like, there could be plenty of, like, maybe society A, you can't eat fish. So then you would apply that using relativism to make your true and false statements or the therefore statements that you're applying them to the different arguments, I believe it's called.
Um, yeah. So for relativism specifically, it's going to be relative to your society. That's sort of how to think about relativism. It's
Okay.
so there can be different moralities depending on depending on sort of which cultural situation you find yourselves in. So and this example is actually so there are cultures
Okay.
that don't eat pork, right? Several religious cultures. So I think Islam doesn't eat pork, and I think Judaism doesn't eat pork, if I'm not mistaken. So uh, if you're talking about those societies and you're a relativist, then you can give a different answer depending on which society you're talking about, because you're talking relative to the societies.
Okay. I think I think I'm starting to understand it a little more. I guess you just need to understand what the theory is, and then you can move from there. But like relativism is just about culture and society, for an example.
Yeah, it would be so knowing what the theory is important, because then you can draw some
Okay.
conclusions about what the depending on what the theory is, that then it would determine what the person is obliged to do in a given circumstance. Yeah. Um, I can't remember if you had mentioned anything else that was causing any confusion, but if you if you do, mention it so that we can talk about it. Or else, if you want to end the call, that could be fine too. Oh, and I should mention that regarding the quizzes, you can retake the quizzes. I posted an announcement about that, but I figured I'd mention it as well. Um, so if you want to glance back at the quizzes, feel free to.
Oh, yes, I have. It's just, I guess taking them, I just wasn't really grasping how to apply the theories, because there were so many options. And so I guess on the quiz, it's like an advantage of relativism. And then if you're applying culture and society, what would that person do or what would someone do? And then you select all. So I can go back and do that now that you've re-explained, I guess,
Okay.
how to work through each chapter or each theory.
Okay. Yeah, and just so you know, for the quizzes, I think the best resource here. Let me pull it up if I have it available. I have lecture note PowerPoints, which you can find in the learning module, and so so here we have moral skepticism under the PowerPoint. This is also, by the way, under the YouTube lectures. And we go through egoism, and then we talk about advantages and disadvantages.
Professor?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, the sound is really bad. I don't want to waste your time. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, I can just I'll post what I said in our chat, and then you can have a look, and we can end the call now. So,
Okay. Thank you so much for your time.
okay. Yeah. Let me know if you have any more questions. Bye.
Will do. Yes, sir. Have a good day.
Okay.